up, Division 2 agents? This is Gamer for Life back with another Division 2 build video. Now, I promised I would go over the build I was using in the Incursion to do all of that crazy damage, and that is exactly what we're going to do today. Before we do that, let me say maybe I should have put a disclaimer on my Incursion simple strategy guide, because I had some crazy commenters going off on me about it not being the fastest way to get through the Incursion. And FYI, clearly I know that was not the fastest strategy. You have to remember, I am a solo player, so I don't have the luxury of game planning with a squad where I know everyone's strengths and weaknesses. That strategy was an easy to follow, easy to explain to people you've never played with before type of strategy. And it worked pretty good getting through it in just an hour with people I've never played with before. If you have a squad you've been playing with for a while, then by all means, go look at those more advanced strategy guides. I have absolutely no problem with people dishing out some awesome knowledge on the Incursion, and even as for anyone having some other great strategies, to by all means share them in the comments. But obviously, you know, I always preach about this channel being toxic free, and that is exactly how I intend to keep it. Going crazy in the comments benefits no one. It will only get you banned. So yeah, don't do that. With all of that said, let's get right into this build. So you can see it is your 4-piece striker with foxes and the coyotes mask. So we'll go over the striker. We know what it does: 15% weapon handling, 15% rate of fire, striker's gamble. Weapon hits increase total weapon damage by 0.65%, stacking up to 100 times. 1 stack loss per second between 0 and 50 stacks, 2 stacks loss per second between 50 and 100 stacks. And this backpack is rolled with weapon damage, crit damage with a max crit damage mod. And we do have a talent for this backpack: risk management. Increases total weapon damage gain per stack of striker's gamble from 0.65 to 1%, and that is huge. And another piece you definitely want to be using with the strikers is the chest piece. Now, I've been seeing a lot of people using Unbreakable here, and I mean, maybe you have to if you don't have a good healer or whatever, but when you're talking about maximizing the damage you're outputting, you absolutely want to use this chest piece. I know a lot of times, like when I'm doing heroic open world activities, all that good stuff, it's pointless to use a chest piece because we're killing the enemies so fast and you're not going to get those stacks. But in something like this, with this Incursion, you can absolutely get those stacks against these tanky NPCs. So the chest piece roll with max weapon damage, crit chance, crit damage with 11% for the expertise roll. And the talent for this is Press the Advantage. Increases max stacks for striker's gamble from 100 to 200 stacks. 3 stacks lost per second between 100 and 200 stacks. So again, just a crazy amount of extra damage for our guns. Gloves, max weapon damage, crit chance, 11% expertise. And our holster, max weapon damage, crit chance, 11% for the expertise. Fox's Prayers, this is rolled with max armor. Now, if you just want to go straight up red, perfectly fine. You know, I just felt this gave me that little bit of survivability that I needed, and still did. Well, you guys saw the gameplay, did some crazy damage. Max armor, damage to target out of cover, crit damage, 14% for the expertise roll. And then the coyotes mask, max weapon damage, crit chance, crit damage, max crit damage mod, 12% for the expertise roll. And this talent is Pack Instincts. You and all allies gain a bonus based on the distance of the last enemy you hit. 0 to 15 meters plus 25% critical hit damage, 15 to 25 plus 10% crit damage, 10% crit chance, and 25 plus meters, 25% critical hit chance. Now, obviously, with how we're using it in this Incursion, we're usually always going to be within the 15 meters from our enemies, giving us 25% extra crit damage. So the skills that we are using: always gonna have the revive hive no matter what. So in all of the different areas, I always have the revive hive on. Expertise is 10% for the range. In the mods, 10% revive, armor repair, 5% range, and 4.9% duration. Now our second skill can change up. Now the main reason I have it with the firewall, first of all, firewall medkit is amazing. Is one of the reasons, and we'll go over that when we go over the specialization. But the other reason I have this, and you can see in the description in that second paragraph, in addition, the striker shield boosts the damage of the user and all allies behind them based on the number of enemies in front of the shield. And you can see right under stats, damage bonus per enemy, 12%. That is a lot of extra damage. That's the main reason I have this, is just to get as much damage output as possible with this build. So if you have 2 or 3 or 4 enemies in front of you, you're just dealing out a crazy amount of extra damage. And this is at tier 1 because of our 1 armor core, plus 10% active regen, 40% shield health, 5% holster regen, and 1% buff strength, 2% for the expertise roll. In the mods, plus 1% damage bonus per enemy, 5% shield health, and plus 5% damage bonus per enemy. So the guns that we are using in this is going to get our stacks on the striker super quick. And if you just have a regular ACS 12, for the first couple of parts, that would be perfect. Because honestly, having the lefty with the perfect sledgehammer is mainly for those last couple of encounters, trying to get even more damage on those bosses. But still, you guys saw the damage this thing was dealing out on those enemies. It was crazy. And now, would you take a look at that? So that just shows you how much damage this gear set puts out, because I didn't even realize my attribute was reload speed. So that's 10% multiplicative damage I'm missing out on. So I will definitely be changing that to the 10% damage to target out of cover after I get done with this video. So yeah, this one is rode with max shotgun damage, damage to armor, and reload speed. 16% for the expertise roll, and then the perfect sledgehammer. Dealing damage with a grenade applies a mark on target. Targets with mark will take 40% more damage to armor and have a minus 30% movement speed. Mark will disappear after 10 seconds. And then we do have the St. Elmo's engine, and that mag is just beautiful for this incursion. And this one does have 20% for the expertise roll, max assault rifle damage, health damage, damage to target out of cover, and the talent is Active S. Shooting an enemy with this weapon will give 1 stack. At 100 stacks, the next magazine will be filled with shock ammo. And you know, if you don't have a whole lot of expertise roll on your guns, don't worry, this gear set deals out. I mean, it just gives you plenty of damage. We can take a look at the stats. You can see we are at 54% crit chance, 137 crit damage, 75 headshot damage, and 21 health damage for the St. Elmo's engine. Then a 34% crit chance, 117 crit damage, 65 headshot damage, and 12 armor damage for our shotgun. But we can take a look at the specialization. Like I said, we are using firewall. 20% burn duration, 30% health on kill. Your armor kit recovers 200% armor and 200% health over 10 seconds. Definitely comes in handy in this incursion. The striker shield that we are using allows deal 10% damage to enemies that are within 10 meters of you. Again, giving your team even more damage on some of those bosses. 30% bonus armor during cover-to-cover moves. 50% pulse resistance, and on armor break apply burn to enemies within 5 meters, disabled in PvP. And as always, just make sure the guns that you are using is equipped on your specialization. That way you're getting that extra 15% increased damage. So that is the build, my friends. I feel this is the absolute best gear set to use when dealing out as much damage as possible in this incursion, and hopefully you will give it a try. And if you do, or if you've already been rocking it in the incursion, let me know how it's been working out for you, and more importantly, let me know if you got that new exotic SMG. A brother is still trying to get that thing. But that's gonna do it for this video, my friends. I hope you all are doing good and staying safe out there. And as always, my YouTube family, take it easy.